Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com.
There's Torn from Creed right here on Rock and Metal Revival. And, dude, I tell you what, that band was the voice of the 1990s. They really were.
It was. Yeah.
I love that band, and it is such an honor to have him on the show with us today. I'd like to welcome Scott-Stapp to Rock and Metal Revival. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
It like I said, it is quite an honor to have you on. I was thinking about it today as I was riding in here to do the interview, and you were kind of like a voice for a generation of people, music lovers throughout the 90s. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good.
You know, it does, man. It was such an awesome run, and you know, I'm looking back, I'm just so humbled on it, man, because it was just, I think, larger and more impactful than I think we could have ever imagined or dreamed of.
You know, lyrically, Creed was one of those bands that you actually had to listen to the lyrics, and I really always appreciated that. Do you always find that all your music that came out of that era was emotionally driven from things that had happened to you guys individually?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I mean, lyrically, it was the soundtrack of or the diaries of my life, and you know, my introspection and the things that I had gone through, and you know, how I viewed the world, and just on so many levels, you know, spiritual conflict, emotional conflict, and the highs and lows of life, and it was really important to me, the lyrics, and so I spent a lot of time just writing and journaling and turning those into the songs that me and Mark would create.
So now you're out on the road. You got a new solo band. Tell us a little bit about your solo band and about your tour that you got going on right now.
Oh man, I got a great bunch of guys out with me right now, and you know, they really bring it every night. Very passionate about the music, young and energetic, and really play it well, and do all the Creed songs that I play tremendous amount of justice. You know, you can never replicate Creed exactly because of just the amazing talent that all the members had, but they sure do a darn good job, and it's fun, man. You know, it's fun to still be playing all the Creed hits and the favorite Creed album tracks that the fans know and love, and then sprinkle in, you know, a few of my solo songs here and there. So you know, it's been going over very well, and we've been having a really good time.
Now, I actually have just joined a cover band, and one of the songs we're doing is Torn. And I had never played it before. You know, I've heard it lots of times, but never really listened like you have to when you're trying to figure out parts and stuff. And I got to say, that song is just badass, man. That song is just cool. There are some really cool riffs in there, and it's just, there's just so many ups and downs, and it's just really well composed. And I got to say, I just earned a lot of respect for Creed just from the one song. I'm sure we'll probably have to learn more, but that was just my take on it. I just got to say, you guys that was some good stuff, and I hope you guys get back together and actually, you know, eventually everything falls back into place, because, you know, it usually does eventually.
Yeah, well, I tell you, we had a good reunion and new album that we were very proud of in 2009 with Full Circle, and we toured that all the way through 2012, and then all went back to our other projects, and so, you know, I'm hopeful in the future, and, you know, the guys and I communicate, we text and send messages to each other, and are in touch, and so I think it's just a matter of time, and when the time is right. So I'm pretty hopeful in that.
That's very cool. And, you know, Scott, I really dug the two solo albums that you put out, and I guess my question is do I see another Scott-Stapp solo album real close on the horizon?
Most definitely. You know, I'm I've already began writing for my next solo record, and we'll continue to do that into next year. As you know, I just got together with a group of guys, and we're called Art of Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Bumblefoot, Ron Thau,
Nice.
formerly of Guns N' Roses, John Moyer from Disturbed,
Nice.
and the Vada Brothers. And we are about to complete our record. It's slated to be released in March. And
Awesome.
we've got a current single at radio right now called The Madness. And so I took a break from solo writing for a time to write this record with the guys. And so that'll be coming out next year. So that's some new material. I'm just going to continue to write music, man, and definitely have a plan for another solo album to come out soon.
Scott, the first time I saw you in a club in Milwaukee, and the next time I saw you, you were at the Bradley Center, and then the next time I saw you, you were at Alpine Valley. Nice. And it just kept seeming like the crowds were growing bigger and bigger. But the one thing that I did take from all three of those shows was the love that your fans had for you and your music. And I mean, that has got you. Are you still getting that same feel when you're coming out on stage now with your solo band?
Yeah, man, it's just amazing. And again, I just feel humbled and so grateful that the fans are still there, passionately loving the music and just passionately showing their love for me and anyone who's playing with me. They're so supportive, and so it's just a blessing, man. And it keeps me motivated to want to continue to write, music that I'm proud of and that I know that they'll connect with, and we can just stay on this journey together, because I think we have the most amazing fans in the world.
Well, I was just looking through YouTube today, watching some of your old videos, and I saw Arms Wide Open. How old's your son now? I mean, that song came out. I mean, you wrote that for your son.
Yeah,
was it Jagger?
My first son, Jagger. Yeah, I have another little boy now named Daniel, who's 6, but Jagger is 18.
Wow.
And so that song was written about 19 years ago. It's amazing how time flies.
Yeah, and how that song has stood the test of time.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just been amazing. I have people all the time come up to me in meet and greets or on the street or just when I'm out in public, and that's usually the first song they bring up to me, and they tell me a story about, how some stories I hear are, well, when it first came out, I was only 18 years old and I didn't really connect with it. But then, now I was 30 and I had my first child and I heard the song and I finally got it and played it as my child was being born. So it's just one of those songs that at some point I've found in the listener's life, whether they got it when it first came out or they didn't get it when it first came out, it eventually connects at some point in time, and it's just been amazing to see the life of that song.
Now, are there any songs in your catalog that you think could have benefited from adding some cowbell? Arms Wide Open. You think that would have been good?
Every song can benefit from some cowbell, man. Come on.
Hey, Scott, we appreciate your time today. Like I said, you are a voice of a generation. Like I was telling Jerry, I go, the soundtrack of my life wouldn't be complete without Creed. And we're going to play another one. I love this song, and it's called Bullets. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, man. It's one of our heavier tunes. We always felt like our singles at times didn't fully represent what the band was really all about, because we were a pretty heavy-edged, metal-based, hard rock band. And so if you just based what your impression was on Creed based on our singles, you really probably were shocked when you came to the show and heard us lay it down.
Yeah.
Because we were pretty pretty heavy driven band. And this was one of those songs, man. You know, and it you know, I remember writing the lyrics to it, and it was at a time when we were, you know, writing the Weathered album, and the Weathered album was titled for a specific reason. You know, at the time I felt kind of burnt a little bit because everything had happened so fast, and we just kept going from making one record to the next and touring constantly, and, you know, and I was feeling it. And this was a time when I think it happens to a lot of bands that have rapid success or become, you know, huge arena and stadium level bands, is there's always people talking, and there's divisive voices that arise that can sometimes even interfere with the chemistry and the friendships within the band. Mm-hmm. And so this was my way of kind of tackling that issue through song and through lyric, as a idealistic young man who wanted to do everything he could do in his power to save the relationships within his band.
Very cool,
Nice.
Very cool. Scott, it has been an honor and a pleasure having you on our show, and you're welcome back here anytime, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you guys so much, man. It was an honor. Thank you.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on uncontrollednoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.